Listen to this episode if you want the inside scoop on the things that people most often don't say about business, but it's actually going to make the biggest change in the growth and the success that you can actually have. I work with business owners all day, every day, as you know, and there are certain mindset shifts, advices, things that people just need to know about being a business owner that is really going to shape how quickly your growth happens and how you're actually able to make growth happen over time. Because truly, I'm sick of seeing business owners with so much potential, incredible products, incredible people, incredible mission, and they just don't ever get the legs that they deserve because they don't have the advice, the information, and truly the true expectation of what building a business really looks like. So we're going to dive into that today. Today's episode might make some people not like me, and it's going to make some people like me even more. My job is always to give you the honest truth. I wouldn't be doing my job and I would be doing you a disservice if I was here telling you that business is all rainbows and unicorns and sunshine all day long. But what that would be doing is it's placing unreal expectations in your mind. My job is to tell you what I've seen after working with hundreds of brands and helped them make millions in their brand of what you need to know, what mindset shifts you need to make, and the strategies that you need to take more seriously. Some of you will agree, some of you probably won't, but at the end of the day, these are all evidence-based by the clients that I have worked with. Every single one of these has been earned from somebody being in the trenches, and we flip it around by using some of this advice. So we're going to dive right into that. No fluff here. Just want to take 10 quick seconds to say hello. My name is Madison Page, just in case you're new here. I'm the host of the Business Growth Podcast, and I'm a business growth specialist. I come into product-based businesses and help them become category leaders in their industry. I just want to point out the elephant in the room. If you've listened to the podcast the last couple of weeks, I had some sort of plague or allergies, who the heck knows? And so I appreciate you putting up with my nasally, terrible voice. And we're back, baby. We're feeling good and we're going. And I'm so happy to feel 100% again. So thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate you. So we're going to go down the list. We have 11 hot takes, and I'm very opinionated on these 11 hot takes. If I were to sit here and say them and really say them with all of my chest, I am going to very much so back them. If you have any questions on them, I would love to talk to you about it. Feel free to join the Founders Cafe, which is our free podcast community where we talk about the podcast. You can join in there and we can talk about this. If you want to debate me, hop in there. Let's chat about it. I would love to talk to you about it. So hot take number one is that every business decision deserves data in the involvement of the decision. Of course, sometimes there's going to be emotion or just like, this is what we want to do or this is where I feel, but everything should be data backed. We can't just be running a sale just because we feel like the sale is good. We can't just be running more ads to this product because we think that it really works. Stop making emotional decisions in business, because if we are emotional beings and we are making those decisions, we are basing our biggest decisions in business off of feeling and not fact. Data allows for you to actually see, wow, nothing really is wrong, or wow, this is where things are wrong, or okay, this is what we have to do instead. It doesn't have to be complicated, but we do have to look at the data. If you're guessing all the time, you're building blind, and very often you're actually changing things that aren't actually broken. I see this all the time. Maybe you decide to change your ad strategy and then overnight your ads stop working. Or maybe you say, you know what, I feel like this is the product that is selling the best, so let's just put more ads there. But what if that product isn't actually leading to the right customer purchases? We have to actually look deeper into the data. We just looked at one of my clients who we've been running a lot of ads for, and we basically looked at the nitty gritty of the products that we were pushing in the ad and the customer that was buying. And we saw that the product that people were buying the most based on quantity was our lowest ticket product. And those customers' return rate was incredibly low. It was in the single digits, which means they were not profitable orders. So even though we were making revenue, we were not actually building profit, and we weren't building longevity because they weren't the proper customers we were going for. We switched around the ad strategy, and in 3 weeks, We saw a drastic change in return customer rate, in average order value, and in the customer that was actually coming to us to what they actually want to spend at this and like come back and really love this brand. They were our true ideal customer. If we never looked at the data, we would have never known that we were actually marketing to the wrong product when I came into this company. This is why data is so important, because it can decide your decisions, yes, but it also can help you basically see where are your gaps and what do we need to change in order to do it. So every business decision should involve data. If you're not new here, that's probably not a shock for you. You could have guessed that was on this list. I am a data nerd because it's where the answers are. Your answers are in the data as long as you know where to look and what that means that you need to change. Hot take number 2 is marketing is the most important department in your business, yet so many people put it on the back burner because you don't have the time and you're just kind of checking the box that you have a social media post going out there, especially your organic social strategy right now. I have had many brands that we just streamlined their organic social media strategy and their return on ad spend goes up, their influencer marketing ROI goes up, their entire ecosystem changes because people are stalking you on social media. 70% of customers are going and trying to find you on social media before buying from you to be more nurtured and to learn more about your brand. So if your ads are rocking it, or you have at least proven that your ads can convert, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are as optimized as possible if you are not actually working on your organic marketing. People want to follow brands on social media so bad. It's where the discovery is happening. We see this across the board. Major corporations are hiring content managers to manage their social media and to really come up with a strategy for hundreds of thousands of dollars a year because it is one of the most important roles in a company right now because it's where communities are created. It's where people are discovering brands. It's where people are talking about brands. And it's where people are learning more if they really, and being nurtured by this brand to see if they really want to be in support of it. So your organic social media strategy is the home of your community, which you know is so incredibly important. You need to be focusing on community. And many people put it on the back burner because it doesn't feel like an acquisition strategy. It doesn't feel like something that is going out to enough people, or it just doesn't seem worth it because you're not actually doing it to a strategic level. You need to have strategy behind your organic social. And it can't just be, oh, I post my face every once in a while and I try to be relatable and we talk about the product and like we have aesthetics. That's not enough. You need to have top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel content pillars that we're following to know, okay, we post this and this is the result we're going to get to make it repeatable. And we need to have engagement from the community on there. If you're posting, even if you have 10, 15, 20, 50,000 followers and you really don't get any comments, doesn't feel like people are really latched onto your brand, that is a marketing problem. And that is why your return on ad spend might not be as high as you want it to be. Your influencer marketing is not working. And all of these other marketing channels come back to your organic marketing. But it feels like this afterthought for so many people when it really should be at the forefront of your mind. It really has to be important, especially right now. Brands that are winning are doing really well on social media. Now, we need those other channels for sure, but social media organically is where their community is living, and which is why it's so important. Hot take number 3 is that strategy without aesthetics doesn't scale, and aesthetics without strategy doesn't sell. So no matter what, you need to focus on your aesthetics. You need to have photo shoots or at least have a visual appeal to your social media, to your website. You need to have a more professional lens. Now, can you get by with making videos and like trying to like DIY it? Sure, but it's not going to have the same level of magnetism that something would if you do have the aesthetics. And so if you are not naturally an aesthetic individual, I would recommend either taking some sort of course to figure out graphic design and things like that, or having a person that is really artful, really graphic design heavy, or just like really has that aesthetics down to help you build out what your feed looks like. Now, you don't need to have like 2016 perfect feed. That's not necessary, but what you do need is you do need at least a cohesive brand where you understand who your ideal customer is and you know how to create identity within those aesthetics. That is really, really important. People care about looking at your marketing, looking at your business and saying, ooh, this looks like it's made for me. You have to do that within the aesthetics. There at least has to be a professionalism, a cohesiveness, and an elevated nature in order for people to really find it to be something that they want to come back to and experience and that they really trust. Now, on the flip side of this, if you are all aesthetics, I have a lot of designers out there. I have a lot of visionaries, right? Very graphic, visionary, creative people that I work with. But if you have the aesthetics, you might magnetize people, but you won't sell to people. You won't be able to really convert them well without the strategy. You can attract them. You might have a bunch of followers if you have a super aesthetic page, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sell to them because you just don't have the pieces that gets them to move. Strategy is what creates action. It's what creates people to really seal the deal into loving you. And that's what the strategy piece does. So, I talk about this balance of the art and the science in business. This is one of the strongest things you really have to think about right now. Do you lean more strategy or do you lean more aesthetics? And we need to balance those two things out because one without the other won't scale. Number 4 is that business takes longer than everyone wants to admit to scale to 8, 9, 10 figures. It really can take a long time to get to that point. And so many people, that like meme, or I guess it was like a graphic back in the day, of people like trying to mine for diamonds. And they so often stop too short and they stop like a centimeter away from the actual diamond. But if they actually just kept going, they would get to it, right? That's how business is very often. And don't get me wrong, I can help people double their sales in 6 months. We do it all of the time, and I absolutely can help you do that. However, depending on the stage of business that you're at, where you're at, the foundations of it, getting your name out there takes time. Getting notoriety and authority takes time. Getting data and feedback and perfecting everything takes time. Scaling takes time. And a lot of these people that you're like, wow, they really blew up overnight, most likely have been around for at least a few years, really trying to like play the foundations. You really don't actually want to blow up. Let me tell you from experience, you don't want a business that is all of a sudden an 8-figure business overnight. It sounds lovely. You're like, Maddie, that's a great problem to have, that I'm making too much money too quickly. However, you end up with a lot of customer complaints, a lot of logistics complaints, and you're doing a lot of backpedaling trying to figure all of this out. It is pure chaos if you are not structured and you're not ready for it because you're actually growing too fast. Slow incremental growth is actually really good. Now, if you are growing at 2% a year or 3% a year, we might want to look at that, right? Those first couple of years, the percentage year over year should be pretty hefty, but it does take time to build the business of your dreams. It takes time. Go and listen to any of these founder stories out there. It takes time to build the business of your dreams. Everyone wants this overnight success, but trust me, you don't actually want an overnight success. I know you're thinking, but I just want it now, and I'm so excited. I'm going all forward. Building a business does take time, but every moment that you're spending not intentionally, not strategized, not organized, is you're wasting growth that actually could happen. So again, yes, building businesses take time and you have to adjust your expectations that you can get a lot done in 6 months, but it does need to be strategized. If you are out there floundering, unsure what to do, feeling very overwhelmed by all of your ideas, no real direction, no real strategy, taking all of these little mini courses, thinking you have to do everything on the plate, turns out you really just have to do a couple of things really, really well, and you need to strategize and streamline those pieces. And so, yes, building a business takes time, but don't let that also stop you from saying, oh, I just need to be consistent now. If you don't have a strategy, you don't have a structure, you don't have organization, because we can make a big difference in just a short amount of time. But if you are strategized, even my clients that are strategized and they're really going, they want to be the category leader. Building a category leader brand takes time because we want to do it intentionally. And so you just have to realize, as long as you have a strategy, you have to let it ride. If you don't have a strategy, we got to get that first before we can really say, well, growth just takes time. Hot take number 5, you are not supposed to build a business alone. Building a business is incredibly lonely. I don't think I've ever recorded a podcast on that, but it is a conversation that I would really love to have. And maybe I should bring a friend on and talk about it, because it is one of those things that maybe people talk about it. I feel like people don't talk about it enough. You don't expect it when you start a business that, like, man, I feel really lonely. I feel like I'm in my own head. You can't really talk to your team about the organizational issues. You've probably exhausted your partner's patience a little bit with your organizational stuff inside of your business and all of your ideas and your thoughts and what you should do next. And your friends probably don't really care. It took me a while to realize that people don't care about my business at all. People can ask, so how's business going? But they really don't care. They don't want the nitty gritty. They don't want the reality. They don't want to know what's actually going on, because your business is your biggest thing for yourself. That would be like your friend sitting down and telling you all about their job. Like, you would be like, I don't really care about your job. Like, I don't know what my best friends even do for work, right? And other than my business owner friends, because we talk so much about business. But if one of my friends has a corporate job, I barely know what they do. If somebody asks me, I'm like, I think I know the industry they're in, but that's it. Because we just like don't naturally sit down and be like, tell me everything about what your workday looks like, or like your thoughts on business, or your thoughts on the business that you work for. People that aren't a business owner do feel that way, right? Because it's just our job to them, right? It's just our everyday. And you need to find other people that are business owners that understand your drive, understand what you're building, understand the importance of this, understand your passion, and really do want to sit down and just talk about business. I have a handful of people, probably like 3 people, that I would say are on my list that I could call most hours of the day to say, hey, I have this crazy thing going on. Or, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Or like, hey, have you seen this happening? Like, how are you handling AI in your business right now? Or just to say, like, oh my gosh, like this crazy thing is going on in business. What are your thoughts? You are not meant to run your business, to grow your business alone. Even if you have a team, you need somebody in the nitty gritty of the operational stuff with you to be able to get into the weeds that isn't a part of your actual team. I have a business coach in my business. Despite me, of course, knowing about businesses, I have a business coach and I'm in her mastermind because I really love communicating with other business owners. And I really do it because business ownership is lonely. And if you don't have friends that you're able to sit down with and like chat about the inner workings of your brain building a business. Hey, I'm really struggling with like this weird mindset thing in business. Your average friend, I love my friends no matter what, my closest friends, no matter if they have a business or not, but business owner friends just hit different, and business owners need business owner friends, or at least somebody in their corner that cares about their brand, knows what they're building, understands business. You have to pick these people strategically, and you have to pick them for people that you like the style of business. You would take advice from them. They're building a really great business. They would actually give you good advice. You actually trust and respect where they're at in business. I think that's some of the hardest part. It's pretty easy to find another business owner, but you want to find a business owner that has similar goals to you. You want to find a business owner that has a similar style in running a business to you. And they don't need to be your twin, because that has its shortcomings in and of itself. I like a friend that can challenge me and say, Maddie, you're thinking of this wrong. Or, Maddie, that's like a story that you have in your own head that's not actually reality. But you need to have people, whether it's community, mentors, advisors, friends who understand, because otherwise your isolation will slow your growth. Because you also, if you are just in your own head, you're too close to way too many things to actually make proper decisions, and you get cabin fever in your own brain. You kind of go crazy. And as somebody that works for myself, by myself, other than my team, at my home, it can absolutely drive you crazy to try to build a business by yourself. You have to get out of the house. You have to talk to people in real life about your business. It doesn't just have to be in person. It's great to do that, but you need to have conversations with external people about your business. Otherwise, you are so in your own head, you can't even understand what's going on in your own business, and you kind of lose sight of everything. It's one of my biggest things is when somebody tells me they're starting a business, I'm like, find other people that are building what you're trying to build or something similar. It doesn't have to be in the same industry, just has to be similar styles, from somebody that you take advice and you respect. Hey, I've been getting some DMs that you may not know what I do outside of hosting this podcast. I actually work with product-based business owners every single day to help them grow and scale their brand. If you really want my eyes one-on-one inside of your business to look at your strategy, to look at your funnels, to look at your data, and to develop your next campaign or bring your business or your idea to life, that is exactly what I do every single day. I've worked with 500 plus businesses across 70 different industries to help them become the next household name in their industry. If you are craving a business brain, a strategic advisor, a data-centered, obsessed person to come into your business and help you bring your idea to life, I'm your gal. Come on over to my Instagram at This Is Madison page, DM me support. Otherwise, you can click the link in the show notes to apply today. Okay, back to the episode. Hot take number 6 is your business will never outgrow you as the founder. We are very often the lid of our business. If you think of your business as a jar, we are the lid that goes on top of that jar. So you can never outgrow, your sales can never overflow that jar. No matter what you do to it, your sales will plateau. If you find yourself plateauing every year around the same $20,000 to $30,000 and you kind of just haven't grown in a long time, it is time to look within yourself as well. How much personal growth have you done? How are you holding yourself back? I have really added a lot of mindset support into business as my business grows, because every single time I need to level up, I need to level myself up first. It's not fluffy. I know I'm a strategy brain. You know this. I'm a data gal. I am a type A organized person to the end of time. And I used to think that this mindset work was kind of fluffy. There are stages of mindset work that feel fluffy. There's certain types, there's certain people, but again, you have to find the people that really resonate with you. But it really is leverage and it really is necessary. Every ceiling in your business eventually comes your ceiling that you have to break through, whether it's confidence, leadership, being seen, your visibility, your failure, whatever it is, even like a fear of success or maybe a fear of rejection or a fear of failure. You have to be able to say, what are my thoughts and beliefs that are holding me back? Because if you have a fear of failure, you're probably not taking bold enough action that's actually necessary to grow your business. So you do very often have to sit inward. You as the business owner are one of, if not the most important asset that your business has. You have to be able to understand and call yourself or have somebody call you on your BS that you have in your own mind. You are the driver of your business. Your business will grow. It can grow, but I am so sick of businesses, really incredible product ideas, businesses that have so much opportunity, not actually scaling because the founder isn't willing to scale it or isn't willing to do the work to scale it. I have worked with many brands and been surrounded by many business owners that I know that if they just did the inner work and they got over their fears, got over their insecurities, that they would scale a multi-million dollar business without a doubt. But they're so stuck in their own stories that they've been told that they're not taking the proper action in order to get there. They're so stuck in their ways, or they're so stuck in these certain thought processes that they don't actually take the action. If you're afraid of being seen, they're not showing up on social media right now, despite it being nearly necessary for businesses to have a face of their brand on social media. If you have a fear of rejection, you're probably not going out and seeking opportunities because you're so afraid that you're going to get a no or you're going to get ghosted. Who the heck cares, right? You have to get over these things, and fear never goes away. I'm afraid in business all the time. I'm taking bold action, doing things that are scary all the time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It means that it's pushing me outside of my comfort zone, and my comfort zone is my revenue zone. And so if I want to get outside of my revenue zone, I got to get out of the comfort zone in order to get there. And so you have to change this mindset around things that way. Your business will never outgrow you. So if you haven't done any personal work in a long time, that's a really big one that we want to focus on. Hot take number 7. Yes, you have to spend money to make money. This is one of those areas that is scary. Again, like I said, I invest in my business all the time. You have to spend money in order to make money. And I know we talked about this on Kelly's episode a couple weeks ago, but business is expensive. Business takes investment, but you have to think about investing in your business different than buying a couch for your house. You have to think about investing in business different than going out on a vacation with your family. There's a difference between a personal expense and a business investment, because a business investment, you should make your money back. So understanding, I get excited to invest in my business. I get excited to do a new photo shoot. I get excited to do my website up. I get excited to invest thousands of dollars into getting somebody's eyes on my business, because I know how great would it be if this $3,000 investment into building a new website is going to make me $50,000 more dollars because it's more optimized. That's how I know that you have an entrepreneurial mindset. If you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you know that building a business takes time. Most businesses don't become profitable within the first few years. Most businesses take 3 to 5 years to actually start becoming stable and building a profit in their business, meaning they are making at least a couple $100,000 before they actually become profitable, because you're reinvesting back into the business in order to keep that growth and that momentum happening. And many take at least 3 to 5 years to really steady profitability, reinvestment back into the business, and feel really solid. And that's with really great growth. If you're kind of stale and you've been in business 7 years or 6 years and you just like, you're starting to grow, but like you haven't really scaled yet, it takes time from you really trying to ramp up your business to build profit and to build money. And so what you have to think about is every dollar you're making, you're reinvesting back into the company in a strategic way to make more money. You're either getting more inventory, or you're making more marketing, or you're trying to, make optimization. You're doing your packaging, your softwares, you're getting support, you're getting education, whatever that might be, hiring. You're doing so much to build that. It does take money to make money. If you are somebody that pinches your pennies, it is going to be tough for you in business. You have to rewire this. And again, if you listen to my conversation with Kelly, I'm somebody that is incredibly thrifty. And it took me a while in business to actually want to spend money. I would hold on to it. And at the end of the year, it was such like a gold star for me to be like, wow, I profited so much money. And then I would look and I would be like, but that's also money that I could have reinvested and turned into an extra $50,000, $100,000, right? And so eventually you have to get to the point where you're understanding that your money makes you more money. Money is leverage. This is why really wealthy people have debt, because they understand business debt, because they understand that money is leverage and it allows to get them what they want to get as well, right? That's another conversation. We can talk about investment another time. I talk a lot about it on other episodes, but you do have to spend money and get money in order to make money. Hot take number 8 is that you don't always have a marketing problem first. You often have to change your positioning before marketing. I work with businesses that even are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're well on their way to make $1 million a year, and we still work on their positioning of their business. What that means is within your industry, everybody kind of has like a different place that they're taking, right? It's like the difference between Lululemon and Alo Yoga and Set Active and Form and all of these other people. There's so many brands that are selling the exact same stuff, right? Like we have all of these different brands, but all of them have slightly different positioning. Set Active, they started with just matching sets. Lululemon is a lot more of kind of like the mainstream. They're kind of failing right now, so it's not a great case study to look at. But if we're looking at like Form, some people are going really Pilates, some people are going, athleisure. Everybody is going like their own little direction. Why should we care about your brand over another brand within the same industry? And that's where we have to start, because a positioning changes your messaging, which changes your marketing. And so too often people are like, I just have to make more content, or I have to do better ads, or I have to, have better positioning, or I have to have a better website. But at the baseline of your business, the very core is your position, is your message. And if you never do anything with it, if you never separate yourself, if you look like everybody else, you're going to blend into the level of saturation that's already in your industry. So a lot of times we have to look at messaging and positioning first. We got 3 more, and they're good ones. Number 11 is one that you really need to hear. Hot take number 9 is that your hero product is more important than your entire product catalog. Kind of going back to that example of my client that saw one of her products was really making a lot of sales. She made that her hero product, but actually we needed to change her hero product to be something else, because that customer wasn't actually coming back. It wasn't building retention. So our major acquisition channel wasn't really working. So what we did is we completely flipped it and changed what product was her hero product to allow for people to really come back. So often people try to build out this like super robust, perfect product catalog, but what actually scales is a hero product, because especially when you're trying to hit your first 7, 8 figures, your hero product is what gets people to come to you. It's what gets people to, really love who you are, come back and build over and over again. You need to stop trying to sell everything on your plate and really start focusing on one entry point, knowing that we can get retention and some of those other products down the line. One product that you can become known for, that's what creates word of mouth. That's what creates scale. That's what creates being known. And that's what we can expand on later. So even if you do have a great product catalog, we at least need, depends on your industry, one product or one signature line that you are known for. It's like, look at the Van Cleef, look at, Tiffany, look at some of these products. And I want you to think about those products. What did you know them for? They need some sort of signature. And now, like Van Cleef has necklaces and bracelets and everything, but you know that symbol, right? That was their hero product for a really long time. And now they've expanded and they have other products and things like that. But that is their signature. It's what gets people to really see them. So you really have to choose your hero product based on data, but very intentionally, and make sure that it is at the forefront of everything that you're building. Hot take number 10 is retention deserves way more attention than you're giving it. And you're always giving that attention to acquisition. Acquisition is really important, but acquisition without retention doesn't really matter. So if you right now are just running ads, acquisition, trying to get new people in all the time, you're really trying to go viral on social media, you're working with influencers, you're trying to get PR, if those are your 4 channels right now, you're trying to do some PR, maybe you've been in like some of the major PR stuff, you are trying to do influencer marketing, send it out, you're doing a lot of ads, you would love for a video to go viral, you're doing all acquisition work. And yes, acquisition is necessary and it's important, but that's only when we have already proven retention and made sure that it consistently stays stable and growing. We need retention higher, because if you keep on investing in an acquisition and they never come back, those sales probably aren't actually profitable. So it's really hard to build a business strictly off of acquisition. And it's going to become like a treadmill. After a few years, there's only so many people within your niche. We can expand it a little bit, but if you don't have them coming back, you're basically starting fresh every first of the month. You have to come back over and over again in order for it to really make sense. I've gone over this a couple of times in different areas, but if you really think about it, if it costs you $40 in ad spend to acquire a customer and your average order value is $50 with your costs in there, that you are losing money on that purchase, right? Because it costs you $40 plus the actual cost of making your product and your packaging and all of that. And a $40 customer acquisition cost isn't crazy on an ad. If you've never calculated your customer acquisition cost, you need to. And if you have a $50 product or an $80 product, that means, okay, now we only have $30 coming into the business. And most of that money is just going to go back to the actual cost of making your product and getting your product out there. Retention means that, okay, yes, that first purchase might not be incredibly profitable, but when they come back a second time and a third time and a fourth time, and they are referring their friends, they're talking about you and they're starting to post about you, and it kind of snowballs and ripples, that's where scale happens. That's where the ripple effect happens. So if you can focus on retention, one customer that you retain is endlessly more profitable than a customer that you just acquire and they poof into the ether. So you have to focus on the details in your email, in your community, in your product experience, in your customer service, your repeat purchase strategy. That needs to be airtight. If you are focusing only on acquisition, we have to focus on retention and make sure that that's proven first. Last but not least, hot take number 11, busy founders are often avoiding the work that actually matters. I see this way too often, is that founders get so busy putting fires out in their business with their team. This happened, the manufacturer broke down, the warehouse has this. They're putting out all these fires that the thing that actually helps them grow their company is on the back burner, and they avoid doing it. The work that actually matters is you working on the company. You have to be able to have streamlined enough systems behind the scenes to actually work on the company, to actually be able to build growth and scale over time. If you feel like your business is like a little stagnant or stale or just not growing to the potential that you know that it really can be, even if you do have 50, 60, 70, or 100% growth year over year, even if you do have those, but you just feel like there's still so much potential out there, it often is probably because you're so busy that you're not actually focusing on what matters. Many founders come to me focusing on the absolute worst part of their business, whether it be product development or answering emails, like these things that feel productive, but it's really just productive procrastination. You feel like you're busy, you feel like you're accomplishing things, or you actually really are busy trying to manage your team and everything else, which might be a structural problem. Many founders aren't scaling because they're actually focusing on the wrong thing. And we have to identify what doesn't matter and what should you be focusing on instead, and creating a system that allows for you to actually just have more time to work on the things that matters. Those are my 11 hot takes. Those are things that you need to know as a business owner, that time and time again I'm reminding my clients, time and time again I'm saying these things until I'm blue in the face, because I absolutely will stand behind them. These opinions are not things, this advice didn't come from reading a business book. They came from working with hundreds of founders, being inside of businesses all day long, and years of being obsessed with growing brands. You might not agree with all of them, but these are all evidence-based from my work with all of these other businesses. If you took one major thing away from this was a win. Even if there were 10 things that you should have taken away and you have one, that's a win for me, because it is all about saying things a million times until that one time that I say it finally clicks. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at this list of hot takes. I want you to look at this and I want you to say, which of these am I going to really stand by today? Which of these am I going to say, you know what, Maddie? Today's the day I finally make this change, and I either invest in something or I change something or I make this decision or I try to go and find friends, whatever it might be. I'm going to go down this list and I want you to pick it right now. Every business decision should involve data. Marketing is the most important department in your business, organic, social, especially. I would love it if that was the one that you decided to work on, because that's a big one. Strategy without aesthetics doesn't scale, and aesthetics without strategy doesn't sell. Business takes longer than everyone wants to admit. So just like chill out a little bit. But if you are too chill and you don't have strategy, you're wasting your time. You are not supposed to build a business alone. Go make some friends, please. Your business will never outgrow you as the founder. You are the biggest asset. And if you feel like it's you holding you back, we need to make some changes within your own mindset. Yes, you do have to spend money to make money. You don't have a marketing problem. You probably have a positioning problem first, and then we can overflow that into marketing. Your hero product is more important than your entire product catalog and what you totally have altogether. Retention deserves way more attention than acquisition. Busy founders are often avoiding the work that truly does matter for them. What I want you to do is I want you to be able to sit there and pick one of those and go for it. Now, I'm not talking about, spending money. It's not reckless spending. It is intentional investment spending. I'm not talking about, okay, go make friends. So you go and join this random community online in order to make friends. I'm talking intentional, strategic friendships. I'm not talking about, okay, you need to focus on your social media marketing, so you just go out and post a million times a day. I'm talking strategic social media marketing. Things need to have a reason. Things need to have an intention. Some things need to have, strategy and structure behind them. And if you're not a type A person and if structure and strategy and organization doesn't feel good for you, we got to figure out how it can be, because it's really hard to build a business and not having any structure, strategy, organization. Now, some people do it. You really can have some messy action. But if you talk to all of those business owners that talk about messy action and just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, they eventually had to figure out an organizational system so they can actually work better and more efficiently, because it's necessary. That's kind of a bonus hot take, frankly. It's really hard to be type B in business. I am type B in many things in my life. I'm looking at piles on the floor. I have 2 boxes over here. I have a couple tissues overflowing out of my garbage over here. I have boxes over here, 3 bags, a beach bag over here. Truly, that is really what I'm looking at right now. I am type B in my life. I am type A in my business. And you have to be able to get that way. It is a bonus hot take, but it's absolutely very necessary. It should have been in the list. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have one that you want to talk about, you want to debate me, head on over to my Instagram DMs at This Is Madison page. I would love to chat with you about which ones you disagree with or which ones you have totally found to be incredibly helpful. It always makes my day when I get a message from you and I get to see the faces and the businesses behind the people that listen to the podcast. Podcasting can feel very much so you're sitting in an empty room talking to a microphone, but I picture somebody's face out there listening to it. And so I like to put some faces to the episodes. I hope you have a great day. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always, and I will chat with you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Business Growth Podcast. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. So if you love this one, make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a conversation. If you want more conversations with me and other business owners, make sure that you join our completely free podcast community, the Founders Cafe. The link is in the show notes. You can get bonus resources, access to free coaching calls, as well as connect with like-minded business owners like yourself. Make sure that you rate and review the podcast 5 stars, share it with a friend to keep those conversations moving, and come back every Tuesday and Friday. I'll see you there.